Hi everybody, this is the baseball, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the people's champion, your host, the HUD, and welcome back. Welcome back. Oh my God, what a nightmare! What a nightmare game. Mets lost 14-2 to the scum-sucking, terrible Pirates. I mean that you talk about a mediocre offense on a mediocre team. That's the definition. Aside from their pitching staff and their starters, Paul Skeens and Jones, this is a bad team. But boy, I tell you, I don't know what it is, but the Mets just don't play well in Pittsburgh. I mean, 3 years ago, they wrecked the Mets season. 3 years ago, they absolutely wrecked the Mets season when they went down there. Went to Pittsburgh. But this game fell on the pitching. I know they only scored 2 runs in this game. Paul Skeens he's going to be a very talented pitcher. He had a good night, not a great night. But the Met pitching was a disaster tonight. Luis Severino, who I'll have a separate video on him tomorrow on this channel. Decided to put the WFAN content on this channel now. But Joe Benigno said that he would sign Luis Severino to a long-term deal. The guy has not been able to stay on the field since 2018. He's a self-described terrible baseball player last year. He did not have a good night. The Mets gave him a 2-0 lead, and he was giving up home runs. Then so many home runs. I probably could have hit a home run against the Mets tonight. Mets gave up a team franchise high 7 home runs. And that's the most the Pirates ever hit. And it tied, I couldn't believe this. I mean, the Pirates go back 130 years. One of the years they mentioned was 1947. That's the Ralph kind of Pirates. I mean, you talk about a ass kicking, old-fashioned ass whooping the Mets took tonight. Now, the Mets were winning in this game, like I said. They went 2-0 after the top of the 4th inning. The Pirates tied it. Then they took a 4-2 lead. And the Mets are still in this game. But Skeens is a professional pitcher. And he has... Pitching in Pittsburgh, there's no pressure for him. I mean, he's pitched for LSU in big games. This is nothing. Against really... I mean, to be honest with you, I know they've played well and they've hit well. This is not a great offensive group. You know, I mean, they had a great month of June. But we've seen them go up and down. And right now they're in a down period. So this was a lineup that probably one of the better lineups he's faced. The Cubs lineup, the first game, a couple of games that he pitched, that Cubs lineup is not good for us. You know, when Skeens was pitching against them. But aside from that, like I said, this all falls on the pitching because Severino did not pitch well tonight. Can somebody explain to me who the hell he was throwing to when he was trying to pick the runner off in that 7th inning? Can someone figure that one out? Or the 4th inning, whatever, 5th inning, whatever it was? I don't know what the hell he was thinking, this guy. I mean, he was throwing to the umpire. I mean, really, you know, he gave up 3 walks in the game. Didn't really have, I mean, really, he's a professional pitcher, but he looked terrible tonight. Gave 7 runs. 7 runs in this game. Let me just go through a couple of things. So he gave a home run to Talese. Was he like related to Vogelback? It's like a left-handed version. I mean, left-handed version of Vogelback. Brian Reynolds hit a home run off of him. But the Mets were still winning. Was still behind in this game, 4-2, when they brought in Jake Diekman. And of course, Diekman came in, gave 2 hits, walked the batter, of course, and of course gave up the long ball to Brian Reynolds. You know, it's funny. Reynolds does nothing. I mean, against Grandal. But I'll tell you another thing before I forget. I'm scatterbrained, so pissed off about this game. Brian Reynolds hasn't done much, but he always seems to hit the Mets. Anyway, so Diekman, why is Diekman still on this team? I was going to do his numbers. He's got a walks per 9 innings before this game, 7.4. Almost a walk per inning. And of course, he walked the batter in this game, and he didn't get anybody out. He didn't get anybody out. And he gave up the grand slam. He gave up the grand slam, one of the grand slams in this game. I mean, this pitching, especially this bullpen, is a disaster because they were winning. They won the first 2 games in Washington. They got very hairy, but they should have won that 3rd game. But Diekman screwed up. He couldn't get anybody out. He was struggling to put hitters away. And with this new rule of guys having to pitch to 3 batters, you're hampered. And he was terrible. He's been terrible. But, they had Brooks Raley here. He would not be pitching in these high leverage spots. Raley would have been pitching in that spot. But Raley's gone. Diekman is not long for this team. I would think that's pretty obvious. It's one thing you fall behind the count, but then he gets ahead in the count and he can't put a batter away. It was so frustrating listening on the radio on Wednesday, the way he was struggling late in the game in the 7th inning against the Nationals. And against young hitters, a veteran hitter, a pitcher should be able to get through a young lineup. Couldn't do it. Then they brought in the immortal Ty Adcock, a rather unfortunate name. Connie Lingus wasn't in there. Alcoholic didn't come out to pitch in this game. But he pitched at one of the 2/3 innings, and he's the other dope that gave up a grand slam. He gave up 1 2/3 innings, folks. He gave up 5 hits, 6 runs, 6 earned, 2 walks. Of course, you got to get the walks in for the Jeremy Hefner pitching staff. Mets gave up 5 walks in this game. That's Jeremy Hefner's pitching staff right there in a nutshell. 5 walks. Struck out a bat. Oh, thank God he got that bat struck out. Gave up 3 home runs. Gave up 3 home runs in this game, including the grand slam. What a wonderful performance by the Met bullpen. They surrendered 10 runs in this game. Severino, got half of the runs, gave up half of the runs, but the surrendering of the runs was by 2 pitchers. They surrendered 10 runs in the game. The only guy that looked decent was Luis Torrens. He's the only one that looked decent in this game. Now, Mets are still in the wild card chase. This is an annoyance at the moment. They're going to get Edwin Diaz back tomorrow. His suspension is done. It's over with. I would hope one of these guys gets out of here. I would hope that the Mets get rid of Diekman. I think that he cannot come back on Monday or Tuesday when the Mets come back to Citi Field. He cannot play for this team. He cannot pitch for the Mets ever again. And he certainly can't pitch in front of the Citi Field. We will boo him, and he needs to go. It's a very simple thing. There's Josh Walker in the minor leagues. I know you'd be scrambling to find a reliever to fill his spot, especially from the left side. But enough is enough. Or Tyler J. This guy is a disaster. And he blew the game on Wednesday, and he was terrible tonight. He's got an ERA over 5. I'm surprised it's not much higher. I'm shocked. But he doesn't give up a lot of hits. He just gives tons of walks. That kills you more than a hit. I'd rather him give up a lot of hits than walks. He's putting batters on, and they're not really earning it. Simple as that. And Adcock, who's rather unfortunate with growing up with that name, he's going to be gone. I would expect that when Edwin Diaz comes back, that he'll be DFA'd or sent off to hell, wherever he came from. My goodness, he'll probably get DFA'd. You can't have a guy like that who's not even a fringe major leaguer. He's terrible. It's very difficult, folks, when you have struggling veterans like Adam Ottavino on this team, and you've had Edwin Diaz who has struggled, and even though he pitched well before he got suspended, and then you go to guys that are not really, that are journeymen like Reed Garrett, it's very difficult to win games. It's very difficult to win games like this on a regular basis. But they got to find a way to just get through this month, be in the middle of this thing, and then when we get to the trade deadline, start making those moves. Start pulling the trigger. Let's need to get some help here in the worst way, because this will kill their season. You can't survive like this. And now that the offense is taking the dip, Now that we've seen a dip in their offense, you're starting to see the warts with the pitching staff, which we knew. I mean, we knew that this had become a problem without Drew Smith here and without Brooks Raley, and obviously over the last 10 games not having Edwin Diaz here. It's killed them. And now they're done with this 10-game suspension. They went 5-5. It could have been much better than that. I mean, they could have won. They should have won on Sunday against Houston. They had a 5-run lead. The bullpen blew it. They should have won the game on Wednesday. Diekman blew it. They weren't going to win this game tonight, but the bullpen surrendered 10 runs in this game. You can't survive like this. I know Stearns is a smart guy. He'll figure it out. But watching it, it's annoying. And this team has fought very hard to get back to 11 games under 500. Now, 2 games under 500. But when you have a bad bullpen, it is tough to win games. And it's a punch in the gut. That's what it is. Thank you for watching this video. I would mention if you're not on X, you're not on Facebook, subscribe to the Baseball Hut. This is the best Mets channel you'll find on this platform. Nobody's even close. Sorry. It's just a fact. So, thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.